for at least a moment, Vince McMahon had to think about coming out in a mask, right?
With a disguise of some sort?
Like a wrestler. Like, he decided to come out. He hasn't given up creative control. He's in genuine trouble. At some point, he had to be talked out of turning it into more content, correct? Like, it's not like Vince McMahon is someone, or wrestling is something any of us expect to be clean. And it's almost the least surprising thing in the world that the top of wrestling and that this particular man would be guilty of like giant payments for treating women like toys.
I would say that the surprising thing is that if this does him in, as he's stepped down from the chairman of the board position during this investigation, is that this is what got him? When you consider everything that's been rumored and reported about Vince McMahon over the course of years prior to them being a publicly traded company, which I think is probably a bit of a game changer. But this is what got him. When you hear all the hearsay about Vince McMahon, this is but a drop in the bucket.
One of the most despicable people in the history of sports, based on reporting and allegations. I think Bill Simmons is doing a documentary on him for Netflix, which is got to be interesting because
they flex a lot of creative control because they have their own in-house production company. So if they're doing a joint production venture with another media entity,
well, their stuff tends to be all washed and generic and soft. In fact, Billy Corben did something with them, and yeah, you can't do stuff with them that isn't governed by him. He's still got creative control, though, right? He's stepped aside, but his daughter, Stephanie, is now the CEO, but everybody knows that's nonsense, right?
His daughter stepped away from WWE a couple of weeks ago on a hiatus to spend more time with her family. It was kind of odd. No one really saw it coming. This a couple months removed from his son kind of being pushed out of the company too. And Triple H, who recently underwent a very serious health scare, kind of went out from his influential position. It does feel a lot like Succession, and Nick Khan has been like the suit that has been rising above all of it. And then Stephanie comes back into the picture because of this investigation where there was a payment and a promotion given to someone that there was an alleged affair. John Laurinaitis, the head of talent relations, has been accused of harassment as well. And as far as I can tell, he hasn't stepped down from his position. But the main thing for Vince McMahon is still creative control of the product. He still gets to shape the narrative, which is why you have the surreal situation of Mr. McMahon. He would argue he is coming out in disguise. He's coming out as a wrestling character, Mr. McMahon, to just come out, get the audience all riled up chanting his entrance song, and then he says a whole bunch of nothing, but it's a big rating spike because even now, Vince McMahon sees a silver lining of a rating spike associated with this scandal.
He did come out, correct? It was
he came out on Friday Night SmackDown, and he made which was announced before. It was a real gross way to drive up viewership. And I don't think that this most recent appearance, he appeared yesterday on Monday Night Raw. I don't know if this was promoted, certainly not nearly as heavily, but he made an appearance too. I think he's going to keep coming out and making innocuous statements just to come out and drive ratings.
Chris, why are you looking into that corner?
Because
Tony
Tony's
doing?
was out of town this weekend, so he doesn't know the latest news with Vince McMahon, and we keep saying he's coming out. And if you don't know any of the details about this story, because I don't think we've said, if you haven't joined, have we really given the details of what we're talking about here?
Yes. So wait a minute. Tony heard that as that Vince McMahon had come out as gay?
Well, we've said, you guys keep saying that specific line, and it's just like he came out. He's going to keep coming out. And it was just, I don't know. Tony was just a little confused.
All right. Good work by Tony.
It is Pride Month. I mean,
Tony had a couple of questions that I do want to get to because he looked around at a bachelor party this weekend.
Why is it that of all that conversation, that's when Roy decided not to do his Vince McMahon impression?
Busy editing, so sorry.
But what happened that we were presented your Vince McMahon impersonation for the first time at a really inopportune time earlier in the show?
Because of Jazz Chisholm's Yo Mama joke,
yeah,
basically.
But why Vince McMahon?
I don't know. It just came. It just seemed like bad timing, yes, but it was a perfect impression.
You also went to it as if it were canon. Like,
It is canon. It absolutely is canon.
It's not canon.
It
You've
is
never
canon.
had a
It
Vince
is. It is in
McMahon
that industry.
impression. You've never done a fake Vince
It
McMahon.
was weird. It
It's not
caught us
canon.
all. It caught us all off guard. But Tony looked around a bachelor party this weekend and said to himself, and some of us have had this happen to us. Oh my
Dan,
God!
hold on. There's some things that can be taken out of context. I definitely looked around at the bachelor party this week and I said, you know what? We need to be healthier as a friend group.
The public relations spinning has begun.
There's a lot of my friends that listen to this show that are big fans of this show, and I need to make sure that everything's taken care of.
Their
and by the
feelings
way,
are taken care of.
Yes, and by the way, we need to be healthier as a friend group. They know that. They know where I stand on that. I mean, I don't have to say it anymore.
Wait a minute, but this has really been polished. There are a couple of. We will get to a couple of the things that he brought up, because one of the questions he asked that I think is good fodder is how much does it take to get you to give up that seat on a full plane? He was asking that because there's a certain offer that he won't go beneath, and he needs it to be at a number, and I think the number is a little bit different for all of us. But there's also bachelor party conversation to be had, because he looked up from the bachelor party, and what did you see looking at you? What did you see looking back at you?
Usually it's me. I mean,
You are putting him in a spot.
I saw
This is a classic don't say anything in front of Dan moment.
nefarious things. That's it.
I told you.
In their
Nefarious
eyes?
objects. In their eyes and
in
their
their
hearts.
eyes?
Yeah. In their minds.
Their nostrils.
Bloodstreams.
I'm surprised to God you didn't come in here today yelling about Torts being hired in Philadelphia. I thought
very excited he's back.
I thought
I
you'd
mean,
be celebrating that today. I really did. I thought you'd be you'd come in hot off vacation just because Torts had been rehired.
there will be a celebration of Torts as we move on here in the show. But I am very excited he's back in hockey. Hockey's a better game
About
with
to be,
Tortorella.
I should say about to be. I should say. The reporting suggests.
He's a good coach. I mean, he is. He was the winningest coach in Columbus Blue Jackets history. He took Tampa to a Stanley Cup, won a Stanley Cup. Everywhere Torts goes, the team gets better. Then they get worse. Then he gets fired. But I'm happy that Torts is back. You know,
That's how it
He
goes.
serves a purpose.
That is how it
He's a
goes.
mercenary.
Yes.
You'll get better, then you'll
They'll
get
hate
worse.
Him, they'll hate him.
Then he'll leave. Right.
He'll be a drill sergeant.
It's a perfect town. It's a perfect
It is.
franchise for him. Just the Flyers, just the Broad Street Bullies. That's his town. That's him.
Have you guys seen the ratings for the Stanley Cup Finals? They're
Crazy.
Up. This is the power
Yeah.
of ESPN, and probably you could add a dash of legalized sports betting as it gets legal more throughout the country. But it's up it was up over 100%. I saw the Stanley Cup Finals, which just shows you the power of king-making ESPN. That the sport made a bad decision by taking the money grab to go to NBCSN, which is no longer even around. Took that versus money. It escaped the public eye for 20 years, and now here it is back on the grandest stage. It's the only game with stakes attached to it right now. It's got the entire sporting world's eyes on it, and it's actually really cool to see. And people are enjoying it too. There's a lot of people that are becoming hockey fans because of ESPN and Turner's coverage.
I think gambling's a small portion of it, but I think you nailed it. It's all ESPN. Like, I want to say this has been a great hockey playoff, but it's always great. And it's always been great, and it will always be great. But being on that platform was a great move, great decision by both sides, because ESPN is benefiting as well.
It's actually down when you compare it to 2019. So it was like partially pandemic, partially because Game 1, which was the reference point, last year was aired on NBCSN, which is a cable channel as opposed to an over-the-air network. So it's up massively over them, but it's actually down like 20% from 2019. So like the numbers, and it's, by the way, the same for the NBA Finals. The NBA Finals were down relative to pre-pandemic because ratings just have not recovered for everything except the NFL, which is why they make $11 billion a year in TV money.
One of the things that Ethan Strauss likes to write about is how the quantifications are being done in the modern age of streaming and everything else, how much lying is done around the press releases that go out and tell you what the ratings increase is, because it seems
Just
like
worked on me.
It seems like the numbers that
Me
Whittingham
too.
just gave us there. You guys went
Seems
to,
like a big mistake
You-
by ESPN to sign the NHL. Like a total waste of money.
Crestfallen.
Right?
I mean,
Jeez, how are they
yeah.
going to recover?
We've got to go the other way on that now. What a bad investment. What a great idea the NHL had in going to Versus and so that they could have higher ratings in 2019 than they have now at cruddy old ESPN.
Seems like the NHL has it all figured out, huh? Just take the money and run.
Was last night's the first game on network television, though? Because last night was on ABC.
They've all been on ABC. Yeah.
Oof.
Hockey on ABC is weird, right?
Are you trying to figure out the way to find the?
I read that it was
back to your argument of. It did say it was.
I saw a tweet that was like 162%. I'm like, wow, that's
all
incredible.
The numbers that are coming out all over the place on everything you're watching is fudged and ridiculous.
Who played in that Stanley Cup? Something's off here.
Yeah.
I'm not certain I'm buying anything.
2019, the world was a much different place.
Yeah.
It was Blues Bruins.
What?
Yeah.
On NBC on Memorial Day, 2019.
If I came up to you during that game and I said, you know what's going to happen a few years from now? They're going to try to overthrow the government. I think I got the number, Gloria.
I'm missing the connection here, Dan.
You weren't here when I was talking about it earlier.
Sorry.
You know what these Stanley Cup finals need?
What's that, Billy?
A Manning cast. Just Peyton and Eli watching the game, kind of having just different people. No, not hockey people. Are you crazy? Peyton and Eli coming in, talking to Russell Wilson, having them explain to us what's going on. LeBron, Rob Dibble, exactly right. They come in and they tell us what's going. There you go.
I appreciate the launchpad into promoting Too Many Men's live watch along for Game 4 on the Le Batard and Friends YouTube page. Allison, Shayna, Sarah. And friends are going to be watching Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals.
Could there be
Peyton
Tampa?
Eli might be there.
Could there be Tampa fatigue, Mike? Could there be Tampa, perhaps?
Well,
maybe.
I don't think.
I mean, we're tired of this team. Enough.
10 minutes ago, it was a glowing
ESPN,
triumph
what are
for
you doing?
ESPN and ABC.
I need to recover from agreeing with Mike. I mean,
Do you guys
I would also suggest that Tampa fatigue, they're having their strongest Stanley Cup ratings. If we're dating it back to 2019, this would say that there's no such thing as Tampa fatigue. They're having their best rating.
they're picking up steam.
You guys ever confuse Rob Riggle and Rob Dibble? Because that's what happened there.
Riggs.
Yeah, we were talking about Riggle, yeah, but we said Dibble.
That's a big fun.
Yeah, Rob Dibble, very
Rob
different
Dibble.
from Rob Riggle.
Those are totally different.
Dibble
Yeah.
showing up would be really weird.
That's what I was thinking. I was just kind of blindly following Tony. He's like, Rob Dibble. And I'm like, yeah, Dibble. And then I was like, wait, the baseball guy? Wait, what's he doing there?
Tony, stop fucking up the show from over there.
It's
Thank
my
you.
fault. I'll take the blame. Yeah.
Well, it is. Of
That's the party,
course,
Dano.
it's your fault, Billy. He
Rob
has to
Riggle
know
is
his
like a
teammates.
Marine.
Mike was talking in the middle of that, and behind a mask, you're yelling, shouting, and laughing, having a private show because Tony can't stop doing a show just for you. and
Yeah,
you
it was a
can't-
Dibble Riggle situation. Yeah, it happened. I'm telling you, it happens all the time to people. I would go as far as to say some people probably sometimes book Rob Dibble thinking it's Rob Riggle for an event. And then they're like, wait a minute, holy moly, who is this guy?
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you think that someone has booked Rob Riggle for an event and accidentally gotten Rob Dibble instead?
It's definitely happened. Like on Cameo, I can see that happening. Like you think you're getting one from Dibble, you get it from Riggle. I mean, it'll throw your whole world off, you know?
I wanted to ask you guys about something that I just thought was super strange that I was not understanding, that everybody was really slapping Klay Thompson on the back and saying, man, you're the greatest. You lit that dude up. Because Klay was holding on to a tweet from Jaren Jackson Jr. from months ago, from Memphis and Golden State were talking a lot. Memphis is young, acting like they were going to take what Golden State had right now. The defiance that you had come off of Golden State in that championship was very much old guy defiance. How dare you guys challenge us when Klay has come back from that injury, when they won 72 games when they were whole, when Draymond was a beast in those last two games and gets to talk all offseason because of the numbers defensively on what he did to Tatum and everybody else. Like at a time after being benched by his coach in the most critical moment, he played great defensive basketball and Golden State figured out the Boston Celtics. And Klay gets up there after missing more shots than anyone in the game, goes 5 for 20, and is holding on to this tweet when Jaren Jackson Jr. said strength in numbers after they beat Golden State. Strength in numbers. It's the most benign. Like, what is that to hold on to for weeks and say, I can't wait to retweet that? And I don't think he's retweeted it yet. And then go at Jackson and say he's a freaking bum and a freaking clown because of strength in numbers. What was leaking out of these guys? Like, they had to go find strength in numbers. How, of all the things said, didn't a bunch of Grizzlies say they were saying on the court while they were playing to playing in Golden State, hey, we're here to take your stuff right now. You guys are the old guys now.
They've been saying it all year. They said it during the regular season. They said it while that series was going on, and perhaps they would have done so had Jordan Poole not pulled on John Morant's leg. I mean, people forget that. It's weird how Golden State is reacting, and Steph Curry in particular is reacting to winning this championship. It proves what Mike and I were saying before the series, that Steph really wanted this one, and he felt like he needed it to secure some sort of legacy for himself by winning the Finals MVP.
Why is it weird what he's doing?
Well, because Steph is celebrating, like, what is he doing here? This is what Steph should do every time he's in the NBA Finals, win the Finals MVP. He's the best player.
Well, what do you mean? What's he
on
doing?
that team.
He's expressing joy because a lot of people like you were still out here saying he had something to prove, and he proved it, and you're still not giving it to him. You're saying he's acting weird.
No, I'm saying act like you've been there before. I mean, that's what I'm saying. You've won 3 of these things, and you're acting like this is the first time you ever won a title.
But this was a bleep you to you, and you don't get to like when Draymond's yelling "shut up." When Draymond's yelling "shut up," he's talking to you. Like, just the what do you mean he's acting weird?
I think he's saying that it kind of vindicates the people that were criticizing him a little bit, saying like that he's basically saying, he's almost like celebrating to myself. I needed to do this.
Yes. He's validating what it is we criticized him for before the series. I'm just saying, Dan, like, what are you doing here? Okay, like, you won a title. It's your 4th title. You have nothing to prove to anyone. Like, you want to prove something to me, to Mike, to whomever.
The objection to the take was that you guys said he had something to prove, and now he's proved it, and you're like, you had nothing to prove.
Congratulations on finally doing what you're supposed to do in the NBA Finals.
Dan, your point was that he shouldn't think that he had anything to prove, and his reaction to winning kind of is giving off. Maybe he does think he had something to prove.
Like he knows he was bad in the other finals.
We were right there to the take to all agreeing. And then Stugotz went ahead and said that Steph had nothing to prove, which was very confusing to me because he validated your original take was he had something to prove. He's certainly acting like he felt like he had something to prove.
I understand, but what does he want us all to do? Like, celebrate, Steph, we're sorry? Like, this is what you should do every time you get to the NBA Finals. Congratulations for finally doing it.
We're back on track.
Yes.
I would say to you, though, Stugotz,
do it again.
The part of that you're not getting from the human condition is just he'll beat the respect out of you. Like Tom Brady has beaten it out of me, and you don't have a choice but to frame it the way that you're framing it. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be the best shooter I've ever seen. You're supposed to be the guy who changes the game all the time. You're supposed to be one of the best players I ever see all the time, and then do it again. That's the standard, and what he's saying with all of the trophies is bleep you. It's the humble guy, right? He came into the league sweet-faced, family guy. I'm going to be the new league. I'm so adorable. This is as close as humble guy who's got a game show and all sorts of sponsorships. It's as close as he's ever going to come to bleep you, Stugotz, and bleep all of you, because I'm so great that you'll respect me now in time. Even as you get crueler and you make Kevin Durant unhappy, you're going to respect me, because look at me, little guy, changed it all. And you can say what you want today, but he'll beat the respect out of you. Like, he knows it. When LeBron won the 3rd one in Cleveland, he knew, like, he was eternal. Like, there'll be polarizing criticism, and Steph knows the rest is gravy. There'll never be one that means that to him. That one.
It's like Kobe winning one without Shaq. Like, it meant more to him, right?
They went and got Kevin Durant. He's won without Kevin Durant. There are no holes on the resume. It's not possible. It's not possible to criticize him.
I figured it out. Steph Curry, what he did in this NBA Finals, he proved that he had nothing to prove.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo. Did Steph Curry prove he had nothing to prove, thus being having the most valuable proof in the finals.
As far as I'm concerned, he owes me at least another 2 finals MVPs. Like, this is his 4th title, just one
owes
finals
you?
MVP.
And 6 games.
He owes everyone.
Almost
6
a
games.
series loss.
And let's not forget about the Ofer. I mean, let's not forget.
Yeah.
He had an Ofer. He did. Then he went on the road and had a big game. It was great. I mean, but do it again, and then again, and then again, because he needs multiple finals MVPs. I am pushing this out. One is not enough.
But for what? Like for
For
what?
me.
Just for what though?
To be in my conversations
but like,
late in life if I get there.
Steph
I mean,
Curry's career is solidified now. He was never like chasing being better than Jordan. He didn't have the expectations that LeBron did.
He's whole.
But he did.
Steph
But he
Curry's
did.
his own guy now.
But he did kind of go from a 10 to 15, 18 range guy to a top 10 guy.
But
That's the thing. We're splitting hairs, but that's what he proved. He proved he's not a 10 to 15 all-time guy. He's a top 5 to 10 guy all-time.
I do wonder though, is every championship now going to be celebrated in this way? Like, maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there was a tenor change where in like the hot take era, it's all about doubters and criticism and what people said about us in March. And I just wonder if every championship, that no matter who wins the NBA title going forward, the entire aftermath is going to be doing the accounting of who criticized us along the way. Because that's what all these guys seem to be motivated by. And when they talk afterwards, it's about what Jaren Jackson tweeted in March. That's so weird in like your greatest moment of joy that you're thinking about Jaren Jackson. Why?
You don't have any tweets, Woody? Like, when you got this gig, you're like, now I'm with the Le Batard Show. You don't have like a tweet, like one tweet from back in the day?
I don't care.
You'll never
at
do
all.
anything in this business, and you're like...
I did have a general manager tell me once that I was going to Peoria, but other
There
than
you
that...
go. You remember that, huh?
Forget that guy.
And you've held on to it. I mean,
I remember it, but like
Okay.
I don't walk into work every morning and go, I'll show that jackass and I'll never be in Peoria. I'll show you.
You're also not a furnace blast of competitive rage that has climbed over the inner cities to get to the top of money in sport.
It's kind of what Jordan said in The Last Dance. He kind of fabricated motivation by these haters, right?
They have to manufacture a lot of. That's why you have this innocuous, weird Jaren Jackson strength in numbers. Why? Because on the balances stuff, the adversity that Klay Thompson has faced, being the son of an NBA player, being blessed with incredible talent, one of the greatest shooters of all time, I'd say life has gone pretty great for Klay Thompson.
What's hissing out of him? Hold on a second, though. But what's hissing out of him at the end with the drink and everything else is none of us but him know what the last 3 years have been like on him and his body, and how he's gone from, greatest two-way player in the league according to Barkley to person that was being described as a liability, and they're fighting at the end the young guys who are coming for the old guys stuff, right? And that's and Stugotz, I've said of this team that one of the great joys of my lifetime is seeing these guys desperate late. Like Jordan's Bulls.
yes.
This team desperate late. This is them desperate late in their careers, because there's gray out there, and what Klay had to overcome is, my guess is, the first time he's had very much athletic doubt coming back from that injury. Will you ever be the same? Because most players aren't the same after that injury.
I understand Klay's reaction. I understand because of everything you just described, everything he's been through. Steph Curry has been to 6 NBA Finals, and the one time he has a good NBA Finals and wins NBA Finals MVP, he's going to act like that? I mean, come on.
Okay, but you say this, but I would just say to you again and again, Stugotz, that's how you get to do, or the critic, let's not make it you, the chess moves that always end up winning. You question the guy the entire time, and when he wins at the end and says, "Stop questioning me," you're like, "Come on, act like you're above my questions."
Well, act like you should have done it before, because you should have, and you didn't.
Okay, wow.
He should have been apologizing, really.
I understand he's got 4 titles. It's the same as LeBron. It's one less than Kobe. He's chasing down Jordan. Like, I get all that. He's got, more than Wade, the same as Shaq. Like, I'm still not certain it puts him in anyone's top 5 or anyone's top 10.
Well, come
like, Chris
on.
Cody, make your top 5 and take someone out. I dare you.
on.
Go ahead.
I'm
and put
not-
Curry
I
in.
didn't say top 5.
I dared you.
I said top
I
5 to
dare
10.
you. Yeah, so 6. Yeah.
Stugotz, I've enjoyed riding my horse next to yours during this NBA Finals, but I think this is where we part.
if you're gonna,
I'm backing you up, man.
if you're
It
gonna,
was great. It was a wild ride.
I love how dug in you are, Stugotz. It's like, I'm going to persist.
I've got like a fork
There's
in the
no
road.
end to this take.
Yeah.
Fork in the road, and you guys are just trotting off in your separate directions.
Me personally, I'm good. I
Mike,
saw what I
it's
wanted to
just
see.
that-
Thank you.
He's
Mike,
just
hear me
asking
out,
questions.
though.
Yeah.
Mike, you had 6 opportunities to do something. 6, right? And you're a top 5, top 10 guy. 6 opportunities to have a good NBA Finals, and you did it once. And it just happened.
He's had good NBA Finals. He just hasn't had
Great.
the greatest.
Right.
The greatest.
Right.
He finally did that. To the average of 30 points per game against the #1 defense in the league.
Right.
He was the best by a wide margin in that series. I have no more criticism. I saw it. Is it weird that he's carrying around the All-Star Game MVP too? Yes.
Like it means
I
more
will
to
give
him.
you that.
It does.
I will give you that.
Was there anything in the trophy cabinet that got left behind?
He wore a necklace with the 3 previous rings. He had his Western Conference MVP, the Magic Johnson MVP award, the All-Star Game MVP award, which again, so weird, and the Finals MVP award.
did you know? Did everyone know that it was? Did everyone know immediately? Did you know by the sight of it that it was the All-Star Award? Did you? Because I did not.
Oh, now it's starting to get strange, huh? I mean,
I love the humanity in it. I love that they had critics that they could have gone at. Colin Cowherd said, blow it up. It's over. Nick Wright said of Andrew Wiggins, and good God, was Andrew Wiggins baked. Nick Wright says of Andrew Wiggins, he's a bad basketball player. Unspeakable. It's over. We will never see Steph win the finals again, ever.
You think Draymond's like, guys, anyone but Colin. He's my boss now. We can't really talk about Colin.
leave it alone, guys.
You think that's what's happening? You think Draymond's looking around in the corners? He must be, right? I think he said this yesterday when he was telling everybody to shut up, that he's thinking of the next controversial thing that he can say.
He always is.
He's wandering around. There's no one else in that business, Stugotz. You do realize that, right? There's no one else in his position in the business of being around, driving around and saying, what's the next controversial thing I can say? It's the Pauls. It's Conor McGregor. Like, how many,
And Draymond.
How many people are doing this?
Draymond has been taking up the cause of new media, dubbing everything that he's been doing as new media. And I think that we're in a better place. It's probably not great for media companies that are trying to gain access. The athletes have figured out that they can do their own access. Hopefully they partner with us like Andre Iguodala. Congrats, Andre, coworker. Never had a coworker win an NBA title while on the same roster at the exact same time. So that's a win for all of us.
Put it on the poll, Guillermo, at Le Batard Show. Do you think that Mark Jackson's faith in God has been shaken at having to broadcast his former team in 6 of the last 8 NBA finals?
How could it not? I mean,
Steve Kerr is now somebody who has been in 33% of the last, or won 33% of the last 27 finals.
I think on the balance of all NBA Finals history, he's won 12% of them.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
what?
There was
He's a serial winner.
You
should
said-
be talked about as the greatest winner of our lifetime.
Responsible for none of them. I mean,
He had a pretty big shot. Dude, he's hit some pretty
someone
big
else
shots.
shot with the so did John Paxson. I mean, come on.
Come on,
Shot with the Spurs?
You're gonna have this take. You're just.
He's a classic
I saw
bus
him shot at
rider,
the
Mike.
cliff. You rode off.
That's it.
Okay,
He ain't driving the bus.
Not for any of them.
Navigator.
Didn't he hit a huge shot in one of the Jordan ones?
Yes, he did. But you
At the
know what?
parade,
When
he
you
was
play
like, I
with
had to bail
Michael
out
Jordan, right? By the way, who always wins Finals MVP. He's got 6 of those things, I believe. But when you play with Mike, you're going to hit an occasional big shot. You know, Paxson did it. Kerr was fortunate enough to do it. I think B.J. Armstrong did it. I mean, that's what it's like Kyrie with LeBron. I mean, give
Even
me
a broken
break.
clock is right twice a day. Yeah.
The Golden State Warriors went from 51 wins to 67 wins in Steve Kerr's first season in charge, taking over from Mark Jackson.
here's
There
one
were
of-
16 wins better with essentially the same team.
what is great about the Crossroads, as Mike, I want to hear more about you and Stugotz riding along horses and your horse stopping and some water and some grass and you cannot move it, but Stugotz is roaring out in front of you.
I want to stay with Mike, though.
Galloping. No, you don't. You've long left him behind. But another Crossroads was Once upon a time, you guys realize this, right? As we talk about Steve Kerr as one of the greatest winners of our time, Steve Kerr and Derek Fisher were looking at the two same jobs with the New York Knicks and the Golden State Warriors. And when one of them signed for 5 years, $25 million, then the other one signed for 5 years, $25 million. Derek Fisher took the Knicks job. He did not become one of the top 15 coaches of all time. Steve Kerr took the Warriors job, and now Mark Jackson, who used to coach that team, has to curse God under his breath. Every damn time I'm out here, I got to keep working. This is money that crushes my soul. This is my team, and I have to broadcast how great my replacement is. One of the greatest winners of all time.
To Chris Cody's point, he seems to go out of his way to praise Steve Kerr. But he'll be like, "Oh, that's a great job by Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
What an adjustment there!" Like he goes out of his way because I think it's to cover for the crying that's happening internally.
It's a disguise. Yes. It absolutely is a disguise for hardened, bitter resentment. And he's like, these mother bleepers on social media. If I criticize him one time, they're going to remind me that I've done 6 of the last 8 finals courtside in a suit, staring at I can smell him. He walks by me. I know what he smells like. I've memorized the scent. It smells like winning.
Mama, there goes that man that took my job.
If they would have done things differently, we could have been talking about Derek Fisher the same way.
That's
Because he
correct.
won 5 NBA titles as a player. He would have had now 4
That's
as
correct.
a coach.
You could be talking about Stan Van Gundy this way. Wasn't he close to taking that job in Golden State?
Yeah, but didn't play. I mean,
What you had happen here is that Derek Fisher and Steve Kerr arrived galloping on the same horses. Derek Fisher's horse died and collapsed on him, paralyzing him, and Steve Kerr's roared to life, and the air blew through his hair.
plus he had Matt Barnes chasing him down. I mean,
I was enjoying being an outlaw with you, those two guys. And game 3, after that series of turnovers that led directly to Boston pulling away, we were exchanging yeehaws and we were looking good.
We were.
And he gave us the game in game 5 too, but they
Yeah.
ended up winning it.
I know.
And then I realized this is an L. He's done the thing.
Right.
All I did was point out that he hadn't done the thing yet.
Yeah.
But now he's doing the thing, and he's going to remind everybody that he did the thing, and as he should. He was great.
He was great, but what we were not armed with was his reaction in the celebration, and it was a bit over the top. Like, congratulations
But
on doing
It
it once.
validates you, though. Enjoy it.
I know, but he could have validated himself 6 years ago when he got there the first time.
But your take was right.
Yeah.
If Steph is acknowledging your take,
Right.
he has publicly acknowledged that there was something to it.
It was the number 1 talking point of the NBA Finals. Ahead of the finals, it was
So
Steph
stupid.
Curry has
It's
not
so
won the Finals
stupid.
MVP. Why is it?
Well, why is it
I don't
stupid,
think
though?
that it
Steph
was
is
stupid,
telling
though.
you it's not.
I agree with these guys
Well,
all
wait a
along.
minute.
He hadn't done the big thing. He hadn't played like Steph, where he takes off and he hits 5 threes in a quarter, and he's the guy in the finals. He hadn't done
He
it.
scored 47 points in a loss against Toronto in a finals
the Toronto
game.
series.
Yeah, okay.
Come on.
No, but Dan,
Durant and Clay are gone by then. Somebody has to score the points.
before this NBA Finals, you can now look back and say, where's the memorable Steph game? And you had 2 in this NBA Finals. I mean, you did. Game 4 and Game 6. I mean, you had 2.
But you're saying Steph is saying flatly that your criticism matters. And what I'm saying is that what Whittingham is pointing out, which is when you get hissing defiance out of the teddy bear, you get, like, he's humble guy, Stugotz.
I know.
I think
I'll push back on that. He's a front runner.
I'm talking about
He's dancing and chewing on that mouth guard when everything's going right.
Welcome back.
his public.
Just kick my Spurs.
You developed the antipathy. You developed the antipathy during the finals. You were rooting against him.
I'm not out here for humble superstar Steph Curry. That dude's one of the cockiest guys that have ever strutted out on the court.
He
Develop what?
is enormously confident on the court and does maybe the best job since Jordan of concealing that for your comfort when he's speaking publicly and doing everything that is his brand commercially, from miniature golf to what he wants to sell you about family life and who he is. He's given you humility, and it's never been wrapped in the kind of Like you have a confidence there that can't have a lot of precedent to be that size and be able to dominate NBA games and change the way the sport is played. Of course, he's enormously confident, but he does a great job of concealing it, except in those moments when it becomes too much. His greatness is so great because he can make it from half court, and there can't be anything in sports that feels better than him on a hot streak. And he does the sleepy gesture, or he points to his ring and he hits you. And because Stugotz, he's learned from Jordan, winners get to write the history, like all of it, on whether we like you, on what your image is, on whether we'll conceal things for you, forgive you for bad behavior. When he points to the ring and he just won it, when he points to his finger and he's the one who just produced that ring, we love that in sports. We'll tolerate it from the guy who's giving us everything we want for an image.
Right.
And Draymond Green's not that.
No.
Draymond Green is defiance, and he is something else, and that also does numbers, but I don't know how much commercial sponsorship he's going to be getting with America embracing this. I don't know if he's going to become Barkley or not. You have to have, it can't be too defiant, Stugotz. People aren't comfortable with that. It has to have an element of sweetness to it. Of course, he's enormously confident. You can't be that kind of great in the face of people doubting you at that size from Davidson and not have enormous confidence. But what you guys are doing to him today, when you talk about he's telling you that he needed this, he's just saying, what are you going to say now? You guys went at what you thought was my one Achilles. Now, what will you say now is his question. And the answer, what Stugotz is trying.
My answer is nothing. Stugotz has a totally different answer, which is go back in time and do it the 5 previous times.
He owes me 3. I mean, that's it. I'm saying do it again. That's all I'm saying. And when you do it, just, act like you've been there before, because now you have. And congratulations for finally getting there.
You're not merely saying do it again, though. The great thing about you is that you, too, have gone to the unprecedented land of take, where you are not only saying do it again, you're saying do it before.
Yes. Yeah. Point to the other 3 fingers, huh?